What is the this nope thing, Mighty Sandwich? What is this about? What? Okay. Just gonna chillax for a bit, looking through some things while people are filing in. Oh no, I need to turn off that audio, don't I? Get the loops done. Shuffling in, filing in, queuing up. Shouldn't use alt tab. Okay. Waddling in? I dig it. I like to have a little bit of a background track going. Yeah, anyway. No, I just thought for a while I wanted to do something in the Zig language. Anybody who programs in C++ probably is a frustrated C++ programmer. And if they had any option to drop it, I'm pretty sure all of us would. So, yeah, just looking for a parachute to deploy to get away from C++ if I ever, if I can. So Zig is one of those options. Odin's another one. Just looking into it right now. This is more of a casual stream, so feel free to just chat, say whatever.
I'm not. This is not like a lecture or anything like that. Just doing some ideation, some planning. Hey, what's up, 01? Just doing some planning for game making here. Nothing too crazy. Anyway, I'm just throwing some ideas down on paper real quick. Got used to quakes. Yeah, the quake was scary actually. That was the biggest one I felt since I've been in Japan. The one we had last year around this time was also pretty big, if I remember correctly. I think, yeah, that was also like 7. Well, Shindo, I don't know what it was for Shindo, but yeah, it was pretty scary. We were about to evacuate if it went on much longer. So, well, good thing. Is everything at your house okay? Did anything fall down? No damage, I hope. No problems over here, luckily. So, yeah, but scary. Great. One of my friends here, his window broke over in Yokohama. Yeah. And I think one of our friends out in Ibaraki, a lot of his stuff fell down, but he's okay. Derek. Yo, what's up, Explosion Force? Yeah, Zig fighting game. So Zig, being the Zig programming language, it's kind of a replacement for C. That's the idea. Not really C++ so much, but yeah. Yeah, I hope your family's was okay. You know, I need to buy an emergency bag at some point. Yeah, I don't even have a flashlight, just have my phone, so, you know. But yeah, anyway, like, I was looking at 2 different languages, Odin and Zig's. Odin was, to me, has a lot of potential still, but Zig just, like, went out on some of the features I was interested in. Zig seems to have like more testing built in than Odin, but they both have kind of similar philosophies. They're trying to replace C as a language for programming. So, you know. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Explosion Force. Yeah, if you know Java and C, this is going to be easy. Like Zig, basically C with like some more modern syntax and you know, features and things like that. We're gonna be using the basic stuff though, just like structures and functions and, you know, conditionals, branching, nothing crazy. I try to keep. I don't try to use advanced features in my games for the code outside of things where I need it, like generics for like serialization, stuff like that. But yeah, I was looking at Odin. Odin's pretty cool, but I don't think I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna stick with Zig. Like yeah, I'm just chatting here, not really anything too formal at the moment. Yeah, I think there's a pretty good introduction here somewhere. Is this the one I'm looking for? Yeah. So yeah, if you look at the code, it's very simple. Variables are just defined with a var statement, and like in this case, the type is inferred. Function calls are very similar to what you see in C. There's like built-in tests, which is cool. That's one feature I really like about it. One thing I really like too is the error handling is really nice. The errors make a lot of sense, and if you make a mistake, you can learn pretty quickly why you made a mistake. Unlike C++ compilers, which really don't explain anything at all. Yeah. Yeah, these are like basic function definitions are like this. Very similar to C++, with a little different syntax. The return type is after the name of the function, like this, and in general the types are like that as well. The types are listed after the variable declaration. So you got a variable y, the type integer int32. This is very common in modern languages. I think if you've programmed, I think Rust does it this way, Nim does it this way. Are you doing the FG? This is just a kind of like casual, hey Backdrift. Yeah, this is just kind of like a casual looking over things, making plans, just chatting about stuff. We're not getting started as like anything formal at the moment. Not gonna like to be like breaking the fighting game part. I might do some framework setup, just getting Zig going and compiling working, but other than that, not much. But yeah, I mean, this is also I might talk about some game design stuff here. I'll probably be kind of, well, I'll probably will clone an existing fighting game or something close to it. I'm thinking of doing IAMP. You know, I've always kind of wanted to make an IAMP style fighting game. Immaterial missing power. Is that am I correct there? Hold on. Immature soul and missing power. Yes, right. So if you know anything about this game, it's really cool. I really wanted to play it more back in the day. Just not a lot of people to play it with. I did play quite a bit, I think, with the guy named Kajok, our local game. Yeah, it's a Toho game. It's really cool. I don't know if there's anything that comes up. Let me turn off this music. Yeah. Hopefully it's okay to restream this. Just kind of showing off this game.
Oh god, I'm playing Tornado. Tina, Ethiopian, Pad, HT.
Let's get some matches in just to see kind of general gameplay.
Yeah.
What really excited me about the game is like the air movement and
yeah, he does not look like
all the projectile stuff. I thought was really cool.
5C pressure.
That's actually pretty hard in lag because Suika is hard to see. You have to really.
I guess comparison to modern games, it does. We'll gotta keep in mind this is a kind of indie fan game. At the time, it was pretty cool. It was great.
Oh, and the classic Pidi fire punch. I think Pidi had complexions about fire punching anytime and every time.
We did like an hour. It was good, zombie. Hey, zombies here? Oh, good.
Yeah, it has things like it does have like inspiration from, you know, STGs, you know, like bullet hell games where you can dodge through projectiles and stuff. That's a kind of cool feature as well.
Which is not this Rainbow player, but another Rainbow player in Japan.
There's a bunch of details about this game. You're gonna have to talk to people who actually play it to learn about the nitty gritty. But I think the general stuff I think is cool. I'd probably make, if I made a game like this, it would be faster than this. I'm thinking more something Vampire Savior speed at Turbo 3. Yeah. I do like air dashing. General and fighting games, I like movement, so Marvel style games are pretty cool.
North American.
Okay. There we go. All right, that's easier.
And of course, you know, if I programmed this in C++, I could do it pretty easily without much time looking up like syntax and stuff. But C++ has a lot of quirks to it, and just teaching those quirks, and also like anytime a bug happens and debugging that stuff ends up just being a huge pain. You know, like template errors. You look at the message that comes out, and you're just like, this is 20 pages long. What's actually going on here? The call stacks get super, well, yeah. The call stacks get super deep.
It changes space in a very odd way.
Is everybody hearing everything all right? Just to make sure. I mean, I can't say we're making an engine. To be honest, like we're just making this is more just like kind of a, like, you know, an introduction of like how you would put a fighting game together, right? It's not meant to be like a generic engine. Of course, there's going to be like basic components like collision handling, input processing, like special move command queuing, stuff like that. Obviously, it will be in there.
He's a Vsauce there.
That stuff's kind of in universal to fighting games. Obviously, different fighting games handle those things a little bit differently, but those things would be reusable, I guess. But I'm not trying to make or have no interest in making a generic engine. It just takes way more time to make things that are generic than make a specific game. And this is, I just want to do kind of for instructional purposes in the first place. Yes, exactly. It's just exploration. I'm interested in the Zig language. And I'm also interested in documenting all these techniques that go into making a fighting game. I don't think much of this stuff has been put down on paper. Granted, this is not paper necessarily, it's video. But, you know, I've worked on fighting games for years, and I'm not actively working on anything outside of Fearless Night. And I don't want to lose a lot of this knowledge, right? I've written this stuff down in various places, but it's not exactly complete. And you know, I've probably been making fighting games on and off since I was 18, 19 years old, and it's going on 20 years at this point. So, yeah, it's a lot of accumulated knowledge that I don't want to lose. That's another reason why I did like the rollback stream stuff as well, which in the future I might go more in depth about, but at the moment I'll leave it as it is. Yeah. But yeah, I have a few friends who play this game I want to talk to. You know, I'm not necessarily wanting to make an exact clone of this game, but I just want to take some of the basic concepts and like, oh, how did they do this? I like to figure out that kind of stuff. Like, how did they make this work? You know, how would I implement that in code? I always try to look for those kind of problems to solve.
Oh, that was in touch blocking. Oh man, okay, if Deus can pull this out, I think we're...
Yeah, oh yeah, there's also this very STG sort of like, you can pull back what do you generally call them, like cards or items. I know the Toho games have that kind of stuff. A lot of the cave shooters have that kind of thing. Once you do a combo, you get either points or gems or something back. I guess in Toho's case, cards.
Yeah, I guess that's more correct. Maybe
Is that like recoverable life? Again, that's a little too nitty gritty on the details of it. I'm not really committing to anything at this point. Just chatting. Yeah, because it looks like the game has red life. I mean, obviously this is the damage that's taken. I don't see any recoverable life whatsoever. Does anybody know what the cards are for? Is it for meter? Yeah, I have a lot of notebooks. Explosion Force. I really need to put this stuff together. Unfortunately, I don't have all my notebooks for working on KI, and I wish I'd kept them. I really regret not doing that when I moved to Japan. Oh, that was a mistake.
You need some space to there. You might not get it. Tornico stays on you like... yeah, it's basically rubber cement once it's on you. Oh, right. What? Okay, wow, that was risky to delay this player.
It's crazy. Like, I don't know, when I watch this game, it's a little slower than I remember it being.
The way he hit it, I think it was just because it was counter hit. He missed.
Yeah, when you get a hit like that, you can't really capitalize off it. You have to get normal hit.
I forgot I liked playing this game when I was messing around with it. I think I like Yomu. I think I remember liking playing Yomu.
I do that way too much.
No, you did it the exact amount that you're supposed to.
Yeah, okay, let's just put this off in the corner
Yeah.
while I'm
See, Deus is getting scared to throw bullets now.
while I'm messing around with Zig a little bit more.
Like a good 4,000 damage.
I mean, that said,
It really
he still
doesn't let me
lost 2 opportunities.
corner it like that. You know, that's what I want, but weird. Okay, here we go. Does that work? Anyway. So, yeah. Zig. Zig is a programming language. That's a fact.
Yeah, but if you have the little org set up, you can just really crush someone in the corner, and that's pretty much it. Like, they only need to hit the div once.
Oh, okay.
That's a big deal.
I see explosion force. So you get
You might not get
another stock and meter for collecting cards after a combo.
Oh no.
Nice.
I do always like looking at fighting games I don't entirely understand and trying to figure out how they work just from the game, watching the gameplay itself.
No, yeah.
So it's always interesting. It's an interesting practice for
Can't stay there.
game design.
Oh, that's done. That's done.
Like back in the day, you didn't have an explanation for all this stuff, so like you just kind of had to guess just by watching like arcade matches.
Yeah, those Wulong mix does.
Oh yeah, so yeah, just back at Zig. I'm gonna turn the volume a little bit on this. Like, let's look at this stuff real quick. Sorry, just kind of waking up here still. Raise up my seat, so I'm not slouching down so much. Okay. So what do we got? So yeah, like function definitions. That's the important thing to me. Let's just write down the things we'll need for making a game, right? What things we need to learn when we're going into a new language. Yeah, obviously we need to know functions, right? So functions, in C we know how functions work. Hopefully, if you see JavaScript's very similar. Structures, right? Obviously, memory management is important. Obviously, I think Zig has like custom or ways to like customize allocators, which is really important for video games. We need file IO, important stuff. We need to consider the general flow of how the game will manage. So this is the data pipeline, and just general stuff, how we're going to handle that. What else? Obviously like vars, consts, variables and constants. Obviously, how do we handle libraries, packages, building, compiling, whatever. Let's do that, and maybe like do we reflection, reflection and introspection. Introspection, I think that's the correct way to spell it. Yeah, or introspection. I'm not sure. These are just general like things we need to look up for Zig before we really start building stuff, or we're gonna have to know these components. Programming or the Zig components to learn about and oops, is it this one? Yeah, there we go. Anyway, just general stuff. References, pointers, yeah. References, pointers. Anything somebody or anybody's curious about learning about or thinks important, just let me know. Yeah, backdrift. I really don't want to do C++. It has a lot of pitfalls. And of course, I could do C++. I know how to avoid all those things. But say if somebody's following along or wants to replicate this work, they're not necessarily going to know how to avoid those pitfalls, right? And I don't really want to explain why I made every choice I do in C++. It is a big language, right? And I've just built up all these habits that I know just from, working all these years. And I do want to pick a language I think could be a potential replacement for C++ in the future. or at the very least learn why this is not usable yet and why we're still stuck with C++. Zig also interfaces with C libraries pretty easily. It has a built-in C compiler, C and C++ compiler, so it's going to help us reuse existing code if we need to. That's an important part. Yeah, I think I don't want to get like caught up in all the C++ stuff, right? And I think Zig has some other cool features. Oh yeah, generics on / code generation. So generics and code generation are going to help us a lot with making tools to generate content for these games. If we're able to like define how we store our game data in say like normal structs, and then if we're able just to like parse those structures and generate the data as text files, or I mean, it could be binary files, and automatically, and be able to edit the fields from say within an editor that has the forms generated on the fly, or at least compile time. That's going to help us a lot because we're not going to have to manually write that code. And then every time we add a field to a struct, right, we are not going to necessarily need to go add stuff in all the places in code for like reading and writing and editing those fields, say from an editor. That just bogs us down, and it's not fun to program that stuff, right? It's so entirely unnecessary. But like in C++, you're kind of stuck doing that, right? At least you have to like mark up a bunch of your code using either C macros, which are terrible, or templates. Another reason I don't want to use C++, because that kind of stuff is just, it's so time consuming for not any good reason at this point, when we have, these languages are much more sophisticated. And game making, a big part of a lot of your work is making tools that lets you generate data that's valid for your game, right? Like if we want a property editor for attacks, we're gonna have things like damage, pushback, launch speed, knockback speed, property like counter hit properties, effects. All that stuff would be fields in a struct, right? You could the kind of simplest way to define it would just be a struct, a C-style struct. Put all those properties in C. In order for you to like say read and write that from a text file, you'd have to like manually mark up either each field using some kind of macro, and then use maybe a library that handles that, or by hand go through and write out all those values into a file and read them back in the same way. And that's just so tedious and time consuming. We, as much as possible, we want that stuff to be handled for us. Speaking of structs, I'm interested in Zig structs. Just kind of heads up, I did make a few testing projects before doing this, so I'm not entirely unfamiliar with this stuff. Just to let you know. So if there's anything anybody's curious about, just bring it up. I might easily overlook some of this stuff just because I've already know about it. Cool. Let's see. So let me look up struct. An explanation. Generic data structures and functions. Types or values must be known at compile time. Cool. A generic data structure is simply a function that returns a type. I don't know. I don't want to care about that at the moment. I just want a simple struct. Okay. So structures. Oh, this is just an example. That's cool. Let's bring you example code. So let's just copy paste this example. I'm gonna see, because I just want to write down stuff that I can easily reference later. So we can define variable with the type float32. Cool. Don't know what the const is for, but we do know this is pretty simple struct, probably very similar to a C style struct. Okay. It's good to know. There's something called pack struct. Maybe we want to pass it. Okay. So there's a way to define things in a way that libraries are required, to, in a way that libraries would accept. So pack struct just means it's going to get rid of the padding. Okay, instancing a struct. Okay. I'm just going to write instance a struct. Cool. It looks like it's going to be constant. So the thing to point out is this syntax here. I'm noticing. It looks like this is a way to specify, be specific. So let's see, yeah, be specific about which field is assigned this value. I don't know what their actual syntax for referencing a member or a field is, but I'm just going to assume it's something like this. So yeah, it looks like the syntax is like .x. Okay, so you can leave a field undefined. I'm not really going to care about that at the moment. It's not something I generally use. I wonder if I wonder if it defaults though. Let me write that down. Well, I'll get back to that. I'll leave a question. Are undefined, well, can we leave? Honestly, I'd rather just not leave any fields undefined in the first place. I think that's kind of bad practice, so let's just skip that for now. Okay, structs can have methods. Okay, so very similar to C. Okay, so it looks like, so it's saying that struct methods are not special, they are only namespace functions that you can call with dot syntax. So it's syntax sugar for structures to let you easily write something like, I don't know, vector dot add or something. So it looks like they have this kind of syntax. So I'm just gonna copy this example because I want to keep this example in my back pocket. So it looks like they, again, same kind of, wait, what is this? Initialization, okay. So they just made a custom init function that takes all arguments like this. The return type is a vec3 with, so the return type is vec3, and the function returns the vec3 here. This is the actual code, executes it with the arguments assigned, the parameters assigned, or the fields assigned using this syntax, the dot syntax. That's cool. And it needs to be comma separated. That's an important thing to keep in mind. Okay, so, dot product example here. Okay, it looks like function arguments take the name of the argument with the type defined after a colon. This is very similar to a lot of languages, or modern languages. So if you program anything, I think maybe like Nim and stuff do it well. Maybe Rust also has the same syntax. You do like a colon and the type afterwards. That's cool. So yeah, it just returns the type here. And does it say how it gets called? Okay. So okay, it gets called like this. So the try stuff, I will just ignore for now. I think it's the way they handle testing, but and I'm just writing this stuff down so I have it for later. I can go in and look up examples really quickly that I need because I can't remember all this stuff immediately. Obviously I'm not a Zig programmer yet. Cool. Oh yeah, I should look at the function syntax. So we've looked at structs. I do want to look at functions. Okay. Functions, okay. There's a lot of stuff here. So functions are declared like this. Okay, cool. Let's do this. We got structs. I'm going to put functions up here. Functions. So similar to what we were seeing before, arguments have the name defined initially with a colon followed by the type. Function declaration starts with an fn. In C, you don't need to do that. You put the type, the return type, followed by the name of the function. But in Zig, it looks like the return type follows the argument list. Okay, and the body is defined in similar ways. C++. Return syntax or return statement should be familiar to anybody who's programmed in anything C-like. Sorry. A little bit of indigestion there. Okay, is there anything more special? 'Cause so far the functions look pretty much what you expect from like a C language. Syntax slightly different, but that's okay. Was anything like behaviorally different than C and C++? I'm curious about that. Looks like you can pre-declare. Oh, it's the way you expose C to. Sorry. Okay, so we're going to have to be able to expose functions to other modules. So it looks like if you need to like export the function name to other, once you would cut like compile units, but yeah, it looks like we have to do something like this, add an export. Oh, okay, and we can call it from C. That's really cool. Well, it says use the C ABI. I'm not sure if that makes it really means that. I'm going to leave that a question for now. Sorry if this part's boring. The research part is always kind of like dull. But if you're interested in programming languages, maybe it's awesome. Or super interesting. Okay. The extern specifier is used to declare a function that will be resolved at link time, when linking statically, or at runtime when linking dynamically. The call convention specifier changes the calling convention of the function. Interesting. So I'm going to ignore that stuff for now. We might get back to it. Extern C. So these are just calling conventions, I guess. Like C style. That's kind of nitty-gritty stuff I'm not entirely familiar with. I know there's C style calling conventions, but I don't know the other ones. No. Huh. This is kind of interesting. Set cold. It says it's really called. Interesting. I'm going to ignore that for now. The naked calling convention makes a function that not take this off for a second. The naked calling convention makes a function not have any function prologue or epilogue. This can be useful when integrating with assembly. Oh, so it doesn't have like arguments or return type. So I guess it doesn't push anything onto the stack. Interesting. That's something that we're going to use right away. So probably never. Okay, so pub, this is something we'll want to use. So the pub specifier allows the function to be visible when importing. Another file can use import and call sub2. So I guess this pub thing and export thing, I thought export was going to do something like what pub clearly is doing. Huh. So I don't know if I don't know if this statement is true. Okay. Yeah, and calling is not gonna be any surprise to anybody here, I guess. Okay. Let's see. Let me put that down here. So calling is like this. Oh, wait, sorry. Functions can be used as values and are equivalent to pointers. So this is just a function type. Yeah, because I see just the arguments and the return value. Okay, so we have a function, a function that takes another function as an argument. Okay, there we go. So call op to op is a function type, and fn call is the function, and then we can just call it. Cool. This is very similar to C. So if you're familiar with that, basically you can treat function names as pointers to the function effectively and pass them in. But like this syntax is much nicer because it matches the declaration syntax, right, of a function. Unlike C, where it's like crazy bonkers Waldo syntax. Like declaring the function type doesn't look like the actual declaration of the function or definition of the function. I'll be right back and grab some water. I've returned. The ampersand symbol haunts my dreams. Isn't that the truth? Okay, that's most of the function stuff, I guess. We can move on. What else we want to check out? I'm just gonna put this up here as kind of top level stuff. Variables, constants. We can check out variable constants. I think that's pretty straightforward though. Values. Okay, variables. So we're going to check out variables. All right. So the syntax for variables are so we have constant var. Okay, hold on real quick. I'm just gonna leave this for now. Okay, I just want examples. It's the easiest thing to understand. So I don't know what this is about. I don't know why they're showing this stuff. Oh, you can't shadow variables. That's good, I guess. Okay. Container level variables. Container level variables are static, lifetime, and are order independent. Okay, I'm just gonna do local variables for now. There seems to be a lot more complexity here. I'm not going to get into. Obviously, C variables get complex. We just want the basic stuff that we're defining within a function for now. Yeah. So, yeah. Let's just do this. Declare. Let's declare a variable with the type int32 mutable. Okay. I just want those examples so I can quickly look them up later. What does call to op do here? Do you mean the previous example we're looking at in the functions? I've kind of moved on at this point. I don't know if there's a big delay or what. Sorry, I just don't see the call to. You mean this one? Here, it's just assigning a type. It's giving a type to. I think this is giving a name to a type. That type being a function type. And then here it's just saying, oh, the first argument is a function with the type call to op, which is just a name for this function type. Yeah, basically. That's assuming what that means. Going off the rest of the syntax used in Zig. But good question. I wasn't entirely sure about that either. Cool. What's values again? I'm gonna skip values. Identifiers, container level variables. Yeah, back to local variables. Okay. I have a comp time thing. Okay, so I guess. So I'm assuming comp time means it's actually built to compile time. Let me just read this. When a local variable is const, it means that after installation, the variable's value will not change. Okay. So assuming we can just write like const y f32 equals. I'm going to assume this is right. Declare a variable a. Okay. I assume the syntax is correct. Local variable may be qualified with the comp time keyword. This causes the variable to be comp time known and all loads and stores the variable to happen during semantic analysis of the program rather than at runtime. I might get back to the comp time thing later. It seems very useful for code generation. Spoilers, I have looked at this earlier, so I do know a little bit about this comp time stuff. Sorry. Still suffering a little bit of a allergy problem today. Not as bad as yesterday if you were able to look at the stream. If you turned in the stream, I was sniffling all over the place, so it wasn't great. Cool. So that's variables. Integers, there's types. I'm going to skip that kind of stuff for now. Most of the things seem similar to C. Operators, I'm going to skip that stuff for now. Oh, arrays. Arrays I'm interested in, actually. Let's add this back to here. So I want to look at enums as well. Maybe unions? I don't know if we'll use unions a lot for this code, but so I'll skip it for now just to keep things simple. Let's see. Okay. I'm skip the comp time stuff for now. Okay, there should be more. It's interesting they don't just explain right away what the arrays are. Is there any? Oh, is there anything here? do kind of want to look at okay. I'm trying to dissect this. So this looks like this is an array whose type is U8 with the size undefined or defined at compile time, maybe. So is this a static array, like a C-style array? That's what it looks like. Literal generally means compile time. So I'm going to say yes and maybe. So I guess you automatically have a compile time length that's defined. I'm going to include that as well. That's going to be useful. I do want to know about strings, but it seems very similar to C, so let's skip that for now. Also interesting, the type isn't explicit here. Okay. I might write that down just because in C you have to be explicit with the type. Unless you use the auto keyword in C++, but that's C++. Interesting. This is how we iterate over arrays. I'll come back to this. I don't know if I necessarily want to look at that right at the moment. No, we'll need that. We'll need that for sure. I don't know if this is required, so I'm just going to skip this. I want the examples very simple and quick to look up, so yeah. I'm sure there's better documentation on this, but for now I'm just using the examples. I don't need a complete understanding of all this stuff because I think I mentioned before I did some example programming in Zig, and the error messages are very helpful. So if I make a mistake, the compiler really should explain this stuff. Array concatenation. Okay, it looks like you can just concatenate arrays array. I'm not going to use that for now. You can concatenate arrays. Okay, I can do. This is useful for logging. I don't need this part. Yeah. String concatenation. I might move this to another section on strings. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'm just gonna go concat arrays. Okay, let's array initialization. I kind of want to make that stand out a little bit just for my own purposes. So it looks like okay, I'm just going to delete that because it's going to get confusing, I guess. What does this do? It does repeating patterns. So you do a pattern of AB times 3, and it's like this. That's a little confusing. It is a little confusing, actually. Huh. It's not that intuitive, to be honest. If it's just a string, it kind of makes sense. But when you, like, yeah, like, why is it outside? I guess the confusing thing is, like, why is it outside of the perimeter, I guess, for defining the value of the elements? You would think it would be inside, but I don't know. I'm assuming with 10 elements. Anyway, let's get past that. I'll have to look that up later. Oh yeah. You might have to use casting, so I'm going to write that down. Okay, so this is just a syntax for initializing the variable, like each element. And you make it 10. A little confusing, but anyway. So there's arrays. Wait, what? There's so many. And that's a little anonymous list array. What is that? Similar to enum literals and anonymous struct literals, type can be emitted from array literals. Okay, this is getting more nitty gritty stuff. I want to get to enums now. This is more we're gonna have to learn how to do for making an actual game. Just defining an array and its initial variables are not initial valuables. The initial values of each element isn't enough to make a game, right? We're gonna have to be changing those values. So how do we change values in an array? We didn't see an example of that, did we? Or how to actually index them. We saw a for loop to initialize. Okay, so we just index like this. That's fine. Are those values mutable? Can we change those values? I don't know, actually. I'm gonna have to find a tool for testing Zig. Wait, there's a website I need to check. Does REPL-IT have Zig? So REPL-IT is like a online compiler. Do I have a Google account signed on this? I forget. No, I don't. Okay. Anyway. I'm gonna have to create a temporary account for streaming a bit later. Oh yeah, as an aside, would anybody be interested in a Discord just for talking about stuff, just fighting game development, and maybe just things related to the stream? I'd be happy to set one up. Cool. Rules and stuff like that, that's all the stuff I'm always afraid of handling. Like, I really don't like writing sets of rules and things like that. I just hope people are behaved. I know that's maybe it's too much to ask, but yeah. Okay. I'll make a Discord server. Just Yeah, let's just do that for now because I think I'm gonna like sign off here. So not too long, maybe like 10 minutes. So yeah, I'm gonna just make a server, create my own server. There's gaming. I don't know. I don't want templates. Let's see. Club and community. Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna call it fighting game dev. Just this is a placeholder, so I'm gonna so I can share it with everybody. Oh, hold on. Okay. Alrighty. I'm just gonna post the link in the chat here. Does that work? Yeah. So just go ahead and join this. We'll chat, whatever, hang out. Yeah, just be behaved, I guess. If anybody would like to write a set of rules or handle that stuff, that would be helpful. Just be, hey, behave, you know, be adults. Anyway, I'm just going to say Zig. Okay. I'm just go ahead and make the channel for the Zig fighting game stream. You know, keep it civil. Don't make a bunch of rooms. I guess I might assign some of you admin if I decide it's worth doing. But yeah, just for now, it's a placeholder, so it's chat, whatever. Anyway, yeah, there's the link. Join if you'd like. If you're anybody interested in the fighting game development stuff, share it with them. Go ahead. I can't guarantee I'll always be able to respond, but I'll do my best. Cool. Anyway, yeah, just going back to what we're looking at. I'm not sure how and if we can actually modify array variables. I'm just gonna write that as a question. As a outstanding question answer. Yeah, once we start like compiling stuff, we can just start testing this code directly to see if it works. Okay. Well, how long we got here? I'm getting a little tired here. It's a little past 1 hour. That's a good little chat. We'll continue doing this casual thing for a little bit. But yeah, honestly, thank everybody stopping by and chatting. It makes things a little more entertaining than me just, yelling at the screen. And again, if you have any questions about game development or software development in general, feel free to hit me up in the Discord. And yeah, I guess that'll be it for now. I'm gonna actually have to go to work here in a bit, so if whoever's out in the U.S., have a good night. If you're out here in Japan, I don't think many of you are. Hope you're all safe. We just had a big earthquake, and again, if you're here and you haven't experienced it before, just make sure you got an evacuation plan ready, and you got water, flashlight, your basic needs. Ideally, a emergency pack, which I don't have myself. Anyway, yeah. Again, thanks for stopping by. We'll be doing this again soon. I do like just hanging out and chatting, especially we're still kind of semi state of emergency here. We can't really go out. I can't really meet a lot of game devs lately. We don't have a lot of social events like we were having before this whole thing. So this is cool to have. So yeah. Again, thank you all, and peace out. See you again soon.